Well, hello again. This is Brian Copeland talking. Welcome to another edition of Copeland's Corner. If all goes well, we'll be joined a little bit later on by a distinguished panel of comics. We'll talk about some of the news of the week. I'm going to kick things off with this. They just released numbers today being Wednesday. We record Wednesdays and we drop on Thursdays if you're new to the podcast or new to watching us on YouTube. And they released numbers today, Wednesday, about the financial health of Donald Trump's social media platform, Truth Social. And Truth Social, I guess it's been 3 years since he started Truth Social. It has taken in something like $3.2 million in revenue over the course of the past couple of years, which isn't bad. I'd be happy taking in $3.2 million in revenue. Unfortunately, it's lost $73 million. So pretty much Truth Social is just like just about every other business that Donald Trump has run, short of selling hats and flags to morons. It's operating pretty much like every other business that Donald Trump has had. So there is a good possibility that Trump Social may have to file bankruptcy and may shut down. And I think that's a good thing. I really do think it's a good thing because he is using that platform to subvert justice. He is using that platform to threaten people, to intimidate witnesses, to sick his mob on prosecutors, on judges, on anybody he perceives as an enemy. So while he will probably do the same thing, he'll just switch over to Twitter. We'll see exactly how far Elon Musk will let him go. And by all indications, Elon Musk is going to let him do whatever he wants to do. But at least he won't have Truth Social if Truth Social goes bankrupt in order to do this. He's got to be stopped. He's just got to be stopped in terms of the things that are coming out of his mouth that are going to incite violence against people who are simply doing their jobs with honor and with integrity. But we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll get into some of that with the comics right after this. This is part of the podcast that we call Headliners. On the headlines, we got a full house today. Joining us, I don't know exactly if this lines up for viewers the way it does for me, but to my direct left is Tom Sawyer, second time on the podcast, an actual legend in San Francisco comedy, one of the founders of Cobb's Comedy Club, which is now on Columbus Street. You're out of it now. You brought it to Columbus and then you bailed on us.
Only after 7 years of being with Live Nation.
Yeah, well, that'll do it.
That did it. That did it for me.
That'll do it. Ngaio Bealum is back. Welcome, Ngaio. Always a pleasure, my friend.
Good to be back. I aspire to be a San Francisco legend, even though I don't live there anymore.
You're not supposed to tell people that. See, with Zoom, nobody knows where you are.
Right.
You can audition for stuff in LA.
They just know you have a comfy chair.
always king of the comfy chair. That's me.
And Chris Riggins is with us again. Welcome, Chris.
What's up, guys?
Now you're driving, man, so don't hit anything. Don't get in an accident.
I am parked in the nice part of Pasadena, right across the street from the Gucci store and some other Tesla. Tesla has a store right across from where I'm at. So
don't stay parked too long, man. They're trying to get you for loitering across the street.
I got my ticket. Look, I got my ticket. I got my parking pass. I'm safe. I know how to play the game.
You were saying about how it's raining there and how people are different in LA when it rains. It's a trip, man. When I was doing Not a Genuine Black Man in Los Angeles, we were selling out every night except for when it sprinkled. Mm-hmm. And when it sprinkled, people who had actually bought tickets wouldn't show up because it was sprinkling. People cancel plans if it sprinkles in Los Angeles. And I've heard that from a lot of people.
I had we had scheduled a play date with some of my kids' friends, and it was at an indoor playground. And it was raining that day, and their friend's mother called me, and she's like, "Well, do you still want to go?" I'm like, to the indoor playground on a rainy day? Yes.
In these people's defense down here, people in LA drive crazy enough when it's a beautiful sunny day. So you factor in that some rain is falling down. I can understand why people don't want to be on the streets and when it rains in LA, because I barely want to be on the streets when it rains in LA because these people cannot drive.
Yeah.
You know, in the Bay Area, we got public transportation, we got options, and it's not that big. So the chances of you getting into a 400-pound collision crash are a lot less, you know, are a lot smaller. But here, yeah, I'm looking at these people drive right now. I'm like, some of these people should have stayed home.
Man, you got people out here that can't drive when the time changes, when the the daylight. It was yesterday now. It was light, and today it's dark. I don't know what to do.
Now Tom. You're from where are you from? Connecticut, is that right?
Oh, Rhode Island.
Rhode Island. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, yeah. One of the few states I never been to. So
Rhode Island is famous for you. It's a great song.
That's what my mother used to lie. She was born in Providence, but my mother was Sediti. And she didn't like saying she was from Birmingham, so she used to tell people she was from Providence, Rhode Island. She never set foot in Rhode Island in her life, but she used to tell all her life. She told people she was born in Providence.
Well, so, it's actually it's actually a great place. It's really interesting how a state that's so small can have like food that like people in Massachusetts don't have. You know, it's like people in Massachusetts scratching their head when you're talking about coffee syrup. You know, which we have in Rhode Island, you know, and
coffee syrup. That's a mixture of coffee and
it's
lean.
Coffee syrup. It's literally
right. I'm thinking lean
flavored syrup.
Lean. It's like a all-in-one 8-ball. It's lean.
It's like even milkshakes. Coffee milkshakes are different in Rhode Island. It's like everything's a milkshake, but a coffee milkshake is called a coffee cabinet. So it's all weird little eccentricities out there that have each state kind of has their own thing. And
okay, speaking of weird little eccentricities, how many black people in Rhode Island? About 9.
I went to school with 5. No,
the majority of them.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I remember seeing lots of black folks. So
well, there's like a place that they're called Cape Verdeans. Is that right? No, I'm serious. Is that I heard it from somebody?
I never heard that. I never heard that phrase.
Oh, okay, all right. Then I'm wrong. I have to go to Rhode Island and find out myself.
Yeah, the food's great.
Let's kick off with this, and we'll kick off back up here in the Bay Area. Sunday, San Francisco Chronicle had an interesting article, and they talked about all of the problems that are going on in San Francisco. And San Francisco is now, thanks to Fox News, getting a reputation as a city that is pretty much over, between fentanyl addiction, between crime, between shoplifting, between homelessness, between businesses, tech businesses that are pulling out, between office buildings that are vacant because there are those who worked at home during the pandemic by remote and are refusing to coming back, that the city is over. So the question the Chronicle asked was, how would you fix San Francisco? So you all are quite familiar with the city. So I will ask for your opinion. If you're up to you, if you were the mayor of San Francisco, what would you do?
I would put on the glove with 5 infinity stones, and then I'd snap my fingers.
Yeah.
About half the population. No, I think go ahead.
I'm thinking earthquake. I'm going to cause an earthquake. Just that seems to bring people together.
Fair enough. I don't think it could be solved by the mayor. I would have to be the king.
Yeah.
Right.
San Francisco, right? Because the politics and all the challenges of everybody's got their own agenda. So it's a failure of political will. All the homelessness, all the crazy rants, the hand wringing over millionaires losing money because people aren't in their giant office buildings. No, it's an investment. People lose money on investments. So shut up, first of all. Right.
No, it's funny to me that it's like that's how capitalism works. It's like when the rich guys start losing money, they blame all the poor people. And you know, to hear that people are blaming shoplifting and homelessness and all these things for San Francisco's decline, and not the fact that people like Elon Musk have fired half the staff at a whole tech company, or that, the rich people are draining so much culture and so much resources for themselves that other people can't stay there anymore. So they're leaving. And the ones that have to stay because they can't afford to move end up sleeping on the street. And the cause of crime has never been, the cause of crime has never been poor people just wanting to hurt somebody. It's really been like, have-nots will always try to get what they can have any way they need to get it. And
also, when
it's not
Walgreens
right.
those cats complain about all the retail theft, let's talk about all the wage theft. Let's talk about all the money that they've had to pay out in fines for keeping people's money, for not paying people on time, for hourly wage theft and all that other stuff. Wage theft is a bigger crime than retail theft if you look up the numbers. Let's get into
the homeless problem isn't like this. Oh my God, how do you fix it? It's really simple. Pay people a living wage. There are people. I went on online and searched why homelessness is in the state it's in, and most of the people that are homeless are working. They're working homeless people because they can't afford. The majority of people who are homeless are working. They can't afford an apartment.
First and last.
They can't afford. They got to eat. All that. They got insurance. They've got all these things that we take for granted. Plus, there's a lot of we forget that things that we didn't pay for, or our family didn't pay for when we were kids. We didn't pay for television. Now you have to pay for television. You paid like $13 a month for phone. Now we're paying $100 and something bucks for your phone. All of these things. We literally.
I mean, your $100 phone does way more stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. But we live in a society where everything is not just a little more expensive. It's ridiculously expensive. And I always think things that the mafia used to do to make money, corporations now do to make money. Yeah. Gambling and
marijuana.
Well, it's all.
The mafia was never really in the marijuana. Let's not.
No, but
never in the marijuana.
But pharmaceutical companies are in the drug addiction business.
Yes, they are.
So, and no one's stopping them. I mean, we sue them, but they just raise the prices of the thing, and they're still selling it. It's not like OxyContin's been taken off the market. Yeah. They just say, "Oh, now it comes with more warning labels." But
the fentanyl is still available.
Yeah,
the fentanyl is still being made. They're not stopping that.
Right, and it's mostly being brought over by white people, but we use. But we use people of color to blame because you need villains. We need bad guys, and dumb white people are really easily susceptible to. You put a brown face on a bad guy, all of a sudden we got to do something about this.
You put a brown face on a bad guy, he's on the news. Yeah. I mean, he's on the news. I saw a stat recently that in order to live in San Francisco, you got to make $400,000 a year. If you're moving to San Francisco right now and you want to get a house and you want to live a middle class lifestyle, and in order to qualify for benefits for being low income, if you're a family of four making under 150 grand a year in San Francisco, you are considered to be low income. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, Brian, it's like Tom said when he said people are working that are homeless. I was driving Lyft in the city. I picked a lady up from the tent city, took her to her job. Like she came out the tent like it was a house. Hey, babe, kissed her man on the cheek, got in the car, took her to her job. So yes, you're poor if you're making under $150,000. Imagine if you're only making $60,000 a year. You're basically invisible in San Francisco. And the thing is, that's why San Francisco has more dogs than children. People can't even afford to have kids in San Francisco. And what's going to happen to a city that doesn't have a youth population, doesn't have a future growing? It dies. And that's exactly what's happening. The young people that were supposed to take over, they've had to leave.
And the biggest problem we have, and this is in every city in the country, is where you have your entire police force, your teachers, your firemen, all these people cannot afford to live in your own community. There's no connection to these people. There's no connection to, like, when I was a kid, when I got in trouble, the sergeant of the police department lived right next door. He was like, Tom's an okay kid. He just, kids are kids, and he would drive me home,
Kids are kids. So tell me, kid.
Hey,
what
listen.
were you,
sorry you
what were
stole
you
that
What were
car.
kids
You beat up
doing
that
in
old
Rhode
lady.
Island?
that right
It's
there?
hijinks.
That right there is white privilege. I've never had a cop look at me as a kid and go, "Well, you know, kids are kids.
Kids are
Kids are
kids. No,
kids.
like,
Kids are kids."
Yeah,
Go on
you must
home.
be 30.
Now, Timmy, here's your knife.
Yeah.
Skedaddle.
Boys will be boys. Boys
Yeah.
will be boys.
And give me
We
leave
look
the
like-
purse. Leave the purse,
we-
Timmy.
We've looked like 30-year-old men to police since we was 5. So it's a whole
Yeah.
different ballgame.
I think
But
about
also-
I think about some of the stuff that I did when I was like 20, 21, 22 years old, and encounters I had with the police. Because I got to the point by the time I was 21, 22, when I'd been stopped so many times. I had a period of time when I was literally stopped almost every day. Well, it didn't matter if I was walking, didn't matter if I was driving a car, whatever. And I got to a point about 20, 21, 22 when I would get in their faces. And I'm literally lucky to be alive. I remember getting pulled over once, and I was so pissed that I got out of the car and walked towards the police car. I got out of the car, walked to the police car, put my finger. God damn it! I haven't done anything. Why are you stopping? Why are you guys? I'm lucky I'm not dead.
Right.
They could
I had
shot
a
me.
cop. It was super random. I was in my 20s. I'm going to visit my mom on Pages to visit Daryl. I turn left on like Scott Street. A cop pulls up behind me, fires up his lights, right? Pulls me over. I pull over. He walks up the car, pulls out his gun and points it at me. Right? And I'm sitting there like, what the, my exact words are, what the fuck? And he's holding a gun, and then something happened on the radio, then he just puts his guns away, and then he walks off and gets back in his car and drives off.
Yeah, I remember when I shot a cop, and the other cop went, "Oh, that's Tom from across the way. He's all right. All right. He's like a bad shot. He's a crack up.
That's just kidding.
Oh, he's
It was
shooting
just
at
a
us.
22. Walk it off.
To shift gears, Donald Trump's fraud trial continues in New York. The AG,
What?
Yes, believe it or not, the AG Letitia James is trying to get the Trump organization fined $250 million for fraud and to bar anybody named Trump from ever doing business in the state of New York again. It's the judge has already found there's no bench trial, and there's no jury. It's a bench trial, and he's bitching about the fact that there's no jury. And the reason there's no jury, people don't realize this, is because his lawyers forgot to ask for a jury. They literally forgot to fill out the paper.
Didn't shop at Costco
You just
for your
checked
lawyers.
the box. They didn't even check the box. It was like a
didn't.
little box. Would you like a jury trial? Check.
But she's cute.
Sure.
She's so cute.
So the judge has already found him guilty of fraud, and so now this is about the penalty. Now he has been going crazy on Truth Social as well as in press conferences, just demonizing the attorney general, the judge, potential witnesses, not just in this case.
Is that the one with the clerk where he's demonizing the clerk too?
Yes, he's demonizing the clerk, and what happens is when Trump demonizes you, you end up with lunatics. The lunatics that follow him, it's like coded mafia language.
Stochastic terrorism.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. And so he's put these people in danger. So there's been a gag order enforced in the federal trial with Judge Chutkin, a limited gag order, and that's now on hold while it's being appealed. And there's the one that Judge Engeron in New York has placed, saying you can't talk about court personnel.
You think Trump mispronounces that judge's name on purpose all the time?
Of course he does. Of course he does. Of course he does.
Judge Negron.
So you can't.
They got me a Negron judge. It's Engeron, sir. It's Engeron.
But you can't talk about about court personnel and so forth. So he's violated it twice. First time it was $5,000. Second time it was $15,000. The one today that he released, he says he's saying that that the AG and the judge need to be subject to citizen's arrest.
Oh
so
no!
That's the same as telling his followers that they need to approach
January 6th
and arrest them. The one against that he did yesterday against Jack Smith, the special prosecutor, he threatened his wife. He mentioned his wife and his kids
at a rally, I think, right?
It was at a rally. It was at a rally.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
So here's my question for you: if that were any of the four of us, we wouldn't have been fined $5,000, which is pocket change, or another 10 grand, which is pocket change. Our asses would be sitting in a jail cell. Now, there is a rumor that he's trying to get thrown in jail because by being thrown in jail, he can call himself a political prisoner and can raise millions and millions of dollars more from the idiots who are willing to send him millions.
Oh
my
God.
So tell me what you think should happen, because do you think he should go to jail? And I'm sorry, I think yes.
I feel like, and I've said this again, I wish Trump was black at this moment, so he would go to jail. I wish he was black so they could use his lyrics against him in court. I wish he was black, so we would have been done with this years ago. Like if he was black, this wouldn't be an issue, because they would have been like, oh, throw him in jail. Oh yeah, use all his lyrics that he been spitting at these rallies. Yeah, bars, homie. Now you going to jail for these bars. Like Young Thug is in jail right now for a RICO case based on things he said in rap songs. Meanwhile, this guy is running around literally threatening people, literally getting people in serious. Like, that's what happened on January 6th. He told them people, yo, y'all don't fight, man. Y'all ain't gonna have nothing to come back to. And what did them people do? They ran up in that Capitol like lunatics. So now he's putting all these people in danger. Once he had mentioned my wife, I'd have been hiring security and I'd have been hiring hitmen, because it's like, it's time just to snipe this guy. I'm tired of it. Like, it's just, you don't threaten family. Like, you want to keep it political? Cool. You want to go after me for my job? Fine. You bring up my family, there is nothing but street mess coming from me. I'm calling all my cousins. Hey, Trump just, yo, cuz, hey, yeah, call the family. We got to ride on this fool. Like, that is just, I would, please.
I gotta tell you, I'm the least street person you're ever going to meet. You guys all know me. I'm the least street person you're ever going to meet. You threaten my family, you see how street I become.
Yeah,
right.
Well, I'd say the judge started out ludicrously with a $5,000 fine. You got to be kidding me. First, if you're going to fine somebody, you got to make it hurt. You know,
right?
And you know, I don't know if you know this, but I think it's either Germany or Sweden where they have a law that you are fined for traffic violations based on your income. Yeah. So you're not, if you're in the, you know, if you're speeding, you know, and it's a $400 fine, you know, it kills the poor guy, but the other dude, the rich dude's going, I'm going to be speeding tomorrow. Who gives a shit, you know? And so, but if you're caught speeding out there, you get fined based on your income. One guy got fined like $10,000 for a speeding ticket.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
I think that's the same way that you have to be. It has to be here.
That would also give cops out here more incentive to pull over rich people for being assholes. Right? Yeah. Like, because a lot of these traffic fees and fines and parking tickets, they're just a tax on the poor, and it's a way for the city to generate revenue because they refuse to tax businesses properly.
That's it.
Well, everything should be based on your income. You know, I said this last time I was on your show, was like, we shouldn't have billionaires in this country. You know, you get to a certain point, you're just basically, you're taxed out of becoming a billionaire. It's like, after a certain amount, you're taxed like 90%. You get like $1 for your $10, you know, after a certain amount of money, because there's no point in our society to have billionaires. Billionaires serve nothing. They're addicts.
That's only if you're not in favor of a fascist oligarchy, Tom. I don't understand why you wouldn't want that to happen. I don't.
Any of you guys ever
how good they are for
any of you guys ever drive in Montana? It's been years since I've driven in Montana. $5.
Well, it was actually $40. It was okay. So I got pulled. This is like 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, me too.
I got pulled over. I'm driving between, I think I was going from Billings to Glendive. Glendive. I was on a triple run, right? Triple run.
Oh, triple run.
So he pulls me over. He doesn't say anything about the smell of weed. I don't mention anything about the smell of weed. And he's like, "You're going too fast. The fine is $40." And I was like, "That's cool. Write me a ticket." My plan was I was not going to pay it. I'm not coming back to the middle of. But he was like, "It's $40 cash right now." And so I just gave him the $40. And then he was like, "Where are you going?" I was like, "I'm going to Glendive." He's like, "Are you the comic?"
Then you get the police escort.
Right, of course I am. I sold all my crack in Billings. That's why I'm just
and I got stopped. I was driving with Christopher Titus, It was me and Titus, and we rented a car, and we were playing the Black Angus in Billings, Montana. A Black Angus in Billings, Montana, and we were on our way to the next gig, which was in Missoula. And these were Fox gigs. These were not triple. These were John Fox gigs. Both of these. It was part of a Spokane run. You do the weekend in Spokane, and during the week you do Montana. We played Idaho with those at that university where those 4 students got.
Oh, Moscow.
In Moscow, we played Moscow. That was one of the gigs where we would play. That's also where what's her name from Alaska? Sarah Palin went to school there.
Did she?
School there too.
Okay.
And so, but I remember us getting pulled over, and I just and again, I was young and stupid, things I would never do now. I was like 21 years old, and I'm mouthing off to a white cop in Montana. I must be out of my
relax.
mind. And so
you gotta relax.
He said $5, and I go, well, here's 10. I'm speeding again. Keep it. That's basically what I did. I mean, it's just, again, they came to a point where I was just like up to here with getting stopped for no reason. I was never anti-cop, but just getting stopped for nothing.
I was doing Make Me Laugh one time back in the 90s, and you gotta send your jokes through the censor or whatever, the standards and practices, right?
Yeah.
So I gave him a list of my jokes, and he goes, "Man, you got a lot of jokes about being pulled over." I was like, "Well, I get pulled over a lot, bro. I can't fight the cops, so I gotta write a joke about it." How do you think this came from?
Good Lord.
They're all true stories.
Oh, I got pulled over a bit because of my schedule. When you're constantly driving at 2:00 in the morning, you get pulled over.
Going to the nightclub, coming home 2:30.
Yeah. What have you been drinking?
Sense.
Nothing. I own Cobb's Comedy Club, and they're like, oh,
So what have you been snorting? No, I'm kidding.
That's why you're driving. That's why you're a little yeah.
That's why you're so focused.
Yeah.
I can't let the steering wheel go.
Scooping up the white line. That's the old joke about the DeLorean. How you know you're following the DeLorean because the white line on the freeways disappear.
Oh, you guys are killing me.
The 80s.
Let's see.
The 80s.
Trump is asking, in solidarity with Bernie Sanders and with all of the U.S. media, and opposed to Jack Smith, he wants his federal trial to be televised. And the argument for televising it is that may be the only way to get to the MAGA people, is that if they actually see that this is a fair trial, and they see that all of the people testifying against him are Republicans who he picked, who worked for him, or who he appointed. And so this is not some Democratic deep state conspiracy. Jack Smith, on the other hand, says, no, don't, because what this is going to do is have an intimidating factor when it comes to witnesses. I think it should be televised, gavel to gavel. I think it should be televised.
I agree.
I don't think it makes a difference. I don't think at this point, it doesn't matter if it's televised or not televised. His followers are going to follow him no matter what. They don't care.
I agree.
They'll say, oh, well, these people are clearly crisis actors. These people literally aren't real. All those people are like, it's like I've been watching The Tiger King over and over again for the past 6 months. And the one running theme amongst these type of thinking people is that they're right. And no matter what is presented to them, it's the other side trying to trick them, or the other side lying, or the other side is not doing what they say they're doing. So it doesn't matter. I'm with Brian. I mean, honestly, I don't care at this point. Televise it or don't televise it. Just let's either figure out a way to get these people out of our system, or let's just go to war. I'm tired. I'm just sick of it.
The thing is I think we all have to remember. I think the overall, you're absolutely right. But if we like shave off like 3, 4, 5% of those people, they come out of their deep sleep or their cult, they wake up to realize they're a cult. That brings that number down, because remember, while it's a majority of the Republican Party, the Republican Party has been losing voters like hand over fist. I think they've gone from like 33% of the population to about 27 or 28% of the population now.
Yes, that sounds about right.
Yeah. So if you're shaving off like another 2, 3, I mean, they are impotent because they can't shed the crazies. The crazies are the majority of their party. But if you keep shedding people, if people go, I can't go with this Republican Party because they're anti-law, they're anti-constitution, they're anti-military, they're anti-science, they're anti-rights
choice,
women's rights, they're anti everybody's rights. The only thing they care about is their hardcore Christian rights, and which they have anyways, but they want their right to inject their religion into our society, which isn't a right. So they if we can just shave off people, they're becoming impotent. They're no longer a party.
Well,
and that's what
I believe
in Ohio this last
you're
election.
correct in that.
I mean, what's amazing what happened in Ohio.
Well, let Tom finish. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, it's really amazing what happened in Ohio this last election, all around the country, in places like Tennessee, Mississippi. All these people are waking up to the fact that these guys don't give a fuck. They don't care about us. They only care about power and money. That's all they care about. And once you pull that curtain back, you just keep shaving off more and more and more people, where eventually the party has a decision to make. We need to either dump these lunatics or we're going to go into oblivion. We won't exist.
For me, I'm not so worried about their political affiliations. I really am not worried about the vote part. That part is going to be, like you said, that's a good thing. I'm worried about these extreme fringes. After January 6th, my mindset on them is not, oh, let's get them to stop voting. My mindset is we have to really worry about these people being threats to people that look like me, Brian, and Ngaio, because that's what they do. They may not vote, but what they do is when they feel their numbers are being constricted, when they feel they're being pressed against the wall, they come out and retaliate in violence. And the violence isn't always perpetrated towards people that look like them. It's on people that look like us. It's on women. It's on gay people. It's on trans people. They go through their community and terrorize those people. So my concern necessarily isn't about the voting aspect. That's going to be what it is. But this very real domestic terrorism that we may be facing if we don't literally look at the real issue, which is extremism from these people that he's creating.
There was a poll that came out in the last month where they asked Republicans if they agreed with the statement that America is in such trouble that political violence may be necessary, and it was something like 60% of them said yes.
That's the way they think.
And then you look at Trump's rallies, and Trump's making fun of Paul Pelosi being beaten in his house. Yeah. I mean, Trump's actually making fun, and the crowd laughs and applauds.
But the thing I think we have to remember too is that a lot of these white people, really dangerous white people, and I say dangerous as far as rhetoric is concerned, their houses, they're walking with strollers, and they are obese with diabetes. A lot of these people are in really bad shape, physically in bad shape. So you don't
have to be in bad shape to shoot a gun.
No,
you do not have
but
to
you're going to be shooting it from your porch, and you're an easy target when you're sitting on your porch with a gun.
We're not talking about them. I'm not even talking about them. I'm talking about the young ones, the ones that we think are not, that are progressive and are moving along the path. I'm talking about the ones that were busting windows at the Capitol. I'm not talking about the fat.
No, I agree with you.
That ain't gonna do, because there's cops like that, but we're talking about the cops that are young, viral, and will shoot and beat and kill people. So while we keep diminishing them by saying they're degenerates, they're this, they're that, we have to take a real fact that those people are violent, because those are the ones that react and respond in violence all the time. So whether
they've been violent toward each other recently, right? Didn't Kevin McCarthy elbow some dude yesterday?
Yes.
Right.
You read about this?
They're posting all over the place.
Some senator challenged a Teamster. I really wanted that Teamster and that senator to fight. I really needed Bernie to stop trying to make peace. I needed him to instigate. Like, he said, your mama don't wear panties. Like, I need him
to fight.
Some old school, a Teamster versus a senator. I was ready for it.
I know. It's so funny seeing Bernie Sanders go in there. We're U.S. senators, for God's sakes. What's wrong with you people?
Hey,
wait a minute.
Hey, senators can get these hands too.
Right? A country founded on violence that doesn't have violence, that thinks violence is wrong, is so weird to me. It's like, what? You practically celebrate blowing up people on the 4th of July every year, but it's too much for some
the country
senators
that
to throw some
invented guerrilla
hands.
warfare.
Yeah.
The
Matter
country
of fact,
that invented guerrilla warfare is going to complain about. But that's the
no more
challenge, though,
elections.
Chris. Like when you talk about having to fight these dudes physically, it's not like a civil war. It's not like a war where everybody lines up and you just shoot each other.
Right.
Yeah.
You've created the IRA. You've created
Mhm.
jihad or the Taliban, right? Because it's all going to be guerrilla movements.
It's all going to be pipe bombs. It's going to be, you know, done
Right.
in places
And that's
where
just hard to
they
fight.
can hurt the most.
It's hard to fight. It's a pain in
Yeah.
the ass for everybody.
Well, they say the FBI's biggest fear is lone wolves, is another Timothy McVeigh. And they're out there.
They're not really lone wolves, though. They just pretend they're lone.
Yeah,
Well,
they're very much in a group.
It's the leaderless resistance theory.
Here's the good thing about social media, though. All these guys like an audience, and they're, you know, they're out there, and they think well, I'll go on this platform because they can't find me. Well, they know those platforms, and they've the FBI has already figured out a way to get in those. So, you know, they can't hide.
I mean, listen, as a son of Black Panthers, I can't really trust the FBI for shit.
Yeah.
See, I love your trust in the system, Tom. I love it so much. I wish I could sit here and just say, "Yep, that's what it is." But as a Black person who has seen COINTELPRO, who has literally witnessed what has happened within our movements, I can't sit back and say, "Yeah, the FBI is gonna have our back," because the FBI
how many young leaders from Ferguson ended up dead? Just randomly.
You know,
we'll go back farther than that.
Jamal is still in jail.
Go back farther than that. The FBI had plants in the civil rights movement whose job
That's
it
what
was.
we're talking about.
Leonard Peltier is still in prison.
I saw Untouchables, and Kevin Costner saved everybody.
It's real. It works.
In Mississippi Burning, huh? Gene Hackman and William Dafoe
Solved it. Ended racism right there.
Solved it. Yeah, that's why, and that's why there's no racism today.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me ask you this question. If, you know, Donald Trump is 77 years old, he's overweight, he eats like crap, he gets no exercise. If Donald Trump were to drop dead of a heart attack tomorrow, would this be the end of the MAGA movement, or would somebody else rise and we'd still be in the same boat? If he were to drop dead tomorrow, is that it? Are we free?
Mm-mm.
Politically, I think yes. Socially, no. He becomes their version of Che Guevara in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, he died fighting for us like that. But I do believe they lose that political connection, because I feel like what it is, and this may be my just perception looking from the outside in, that a lot of the people that are on the so-called Republican right side, they're only riding with him because he's popular. If he's gone and there's no way, and they don't need him anymore, I believe we get more of the old school Republicans stepping up and less of the extremist Republican in that sense. They'll still be extreme. The MAGA people will still be out there, but they won't have that political leader to rally behind and actually get stuff done. So I mean, that's just my hope, but I could be wrong.
I would say that some other weird ass demagogue who is not Ron DeSantis, because Ron DeSantis couldn't charm his way out of a paper bag.
Well, you got Carrie Lake. You got people auditioning for the part.
Carrie Lake is auditioning for the
Marjorie
part.
Taylor Greene would jump in New York second. You know, and
but none of them have
Helen
that
Berberg
swag.
been able to keep her hands to herself.
None of them are TV stars. I mean,
none of them have that swag, baby. They don't have that.
The Republican Party is the party of TV stars. You know, if you're, know, it's fine.
Well, they don't.
What's the Hercules dude? You know, or the guy who played
Kevin Sorbo.
The dude who played Jesus. He could jump in.
Oh, Jim Caviezel, is that?
I mean, he would jump in there in the New York second. Those guys, they'd all be like going. They'd all be going for the brass ring, man, because it's all about TV personalities. Because those people, that's what there is. That's why he's Donald Trump to begin with. He was a TV personality.
He was in Home Alone. He was in Home Alone.
Ronald Reagan was dead, so they settled on Trump.
Did you read that story about James Woods is suing the DNC, claiming that the DNC has ruined his career, so he can't get work?
Is Kevin Sorbo joining the suit?
And Dean Cain. Dean Cain is in it, and Chachi has left California.
It's
Moved to
goddamn,
Florida.
God.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's all the liberals' fault you guys can't act.
I have two
Ah.
words for the defense: Arnold Schwarzenegger. Thank you very much. Good
There you
night,
go.
ladies and gentlemen. You
There you
know,
go.
still has a career. The guy's what, 72 now, 73, still making feature films. You know,
He was a Republican,
He
and I
sucked,
did
dude.
not hate him. I did not hate him when he was mayor. When he was the governor of California, yes, he was a Republican, whatever. But it wasn't like a hate thing. It was like we just disagree, fam. We
Right.
just
That's
don't
exactly
see
it.
things the same. It's not this general
Remember those
malaise where
days?
it's like, yeah, I miss those days, and that's what I'm hoping, that if Trump does disappear by some, that the real Republicans will finally take their stance and say, okay, guys, you see, we can't go down that road again.
Well,
we have to
It's
get
too
back
late.
to
problem.
It's too late.
Yeah.
They have drifted so
You're right.
far. There's no way. You
They've
catch
opened
a
the bag.
tiger, now you got to ride it.
Well, the big
So-
problem is the gerrymandering around the country. That's one. That's
Yep.
huge. That they've cheated themselves into a corner of extremism because they wanted to keep those seats. So they made it so extremists are going to win. You can go more extreme, more extreme, more extreme, more extreme, and until something cataclysmic happened. We were talking about those crazy people that have a pipe bomb in a car. You see dead kids, you know, and all of a sudden. And they're tied up to a guy who's got, you know, posters of Trump on his wall and Tucker Carlson. That movement is dead.
You think so?
Because,
So what you're saying is,
yeah, I
we
mean,
need
they'll
to
be,
set somebody
I don't
up.
think so.
they'll still be.
I don't think so.
The overall
I don't.
movement is dead. You see dead kids, man. We haven't seen that
Hey,
yet.
if Sandy Hook,
if that was
if
true,
Sandy
we'd
Hook-
have gun
if-
control.
if Sandy
Yeah,
Hook,
exactly.
didn't
No,
change
I'm talking
anybody's
about
mind.
dead kids. Well, pipe bomb. Well, obviously we don't mind AR-15 dead kids, but the most, you know, but you see, you have a couple hundred people die from, you know, an attack with.
What we need is a black MAGA person to kill one person, and that's gonna set it off. Just one black MAGA. No. One illegal Mexican MAGA person to kill a child, and guess what? We're rid of these guys for life. We just gotta find a patsy, guys. We just gotta find.
But then
that
you're gonna have
patsy.
Alex, you know, Alex Jones go, it's a false flag.
Can we set up Geraldo Rivera to do it? Like, if we could catch Geraldo Rivera with a naked kid, it's over, baby.
Boy, I hate that guy.
What happened to him? Because he used to be.
You Latino?
I mean,
You
he
used to be
made
Latino.
he made his name by exposing abuse of elderly people in nursing homes. That was his first major.
And now he
story.
is one.
Yeah.
Now he is one.
Once he got his nose broke, it changed him.
Oh, yeah, that's right. On his show, what were they throwing chairs or something?
That was that neo-Nazi through that chair. He was like, you know
I
what?
thought
These
it was
guys might have a
Al
point.
Capone's vault that did it. That was it.
Yeah,
was
Al
over.
Capone's vault. There was just a brick wall.
Yeah.
Complete change of subject. I went and saw the press screening of The Marvels last week. And The Marvels is the Marvels' latest film with three female leads, Brie Larson, and I forget the name of the other two actresses.
Tiana and Imani.
Okay,
Imani.
thank you. And I thought the movie was good, and I thought that they were all wonderful in it. But it's the lowest opening in the history of the 33 Marvel films. And Chris, you posted on Facebook that the reason it's just, you read the comments and it's all guys that are just slamming this film. And you posted on Facebook something to the effect of that it was misogyny was the reason behind it and the reason that it failed. You want to elaborate on that?
Well, I was mostly talking about the complaints where where that was more directed to the people that are complaining that it's not good. We're all men. It was just really all comic book nerd or dudes saying, "Oh, this movie sucked," and us trying to push this female agenda and da da da. That's what I was speaking to.
We can't see it.
Oh, sorry. But as far as the failure for the movie, it's the actor strike. These actors have not been able to promote their films.
Exactly.
So of course the ratings are down, but it still made $100 million in its first week. So I'm not saying that's great by a Marvel standard, but no, what's happened is there's two factions of it. There's the fact that there's an actor strike, nobody's been able to promote. All movies are down right now. If you look across the box office, all the movies that have released during the strike or right after are all down because actors couldn't promote. But as far as the misogyny towards this movie, there's definitely a big swell of incel men who are like, we don't like this because it's, you know, it's trying to make us woke. And the funny thing is, She-Hulk, another great show from Marvel, got the same backlash.
It sure did.
It's just this comic book culture of men who feel that the only characters that can exist are the men that they've fallen in love with through their childhood and through their adulthood and want to be with. Like, I always say that if men looked at women the way they looked at LeBron and their favorite comic book character, women would feel so much more loved in this world. And just to hear that it's really only dudes who have complaints about it. And none of them are like, well, I don't like the movie because the cinematography didn't fit the story. Or no, these people are just like, I don't like the fact that they're trying to make me watch women be in the lead.
Yeah,
and
that's people actually posted that.
But I would argue that Marvel, since Endgame, Marvel's been going downhill.
That's subjective.
Rocket sled, and financially, their movies have done worse and worse. Ant-Man was a flop.
It was terrible.
Yeah,
but you know why?
Quantumania was horrible.
Everything's on Disney Plus. So what it is, people are saying, literally, all those movies come out on Disney Plus a month or two after they're released in theaters. So that's what's been happening. The fact that people are like, well, I don't have to go spend $30-$40 at the movie theater. I can literally wait for it to come to my home and watch it then, because that's what I did with Wakanda Forever, unfortunately, because I didn't have the time to go to the theater. So I waited for it to be on Disney Plus, which I'm paying for, and I watched it. So I think Marvel's plan switched up after Endgame because they got that contract with Disney Plus. They started making everything more series. Like after Endgame, we had like what, WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
That was great.
You know, we
Hawkeye was good.
Yeah, but movie wise, we got Black Widow, which
should have been released 5 years earlier.
Exactly.
Which should have been released before Endgame.
And
it was a good movie.
Yeah, The Eternals, which introduced a bunch of superheroes that apparently weren't around for the snap.
That's what I never got. You're supposed to be.
No, they were.
You're here to.
But they didn't want to get involved.
But they can't get involved because they're going to alter the. You know what it was. They didn't realize that their path was to build life on the planet. And what happened was when the snap came, half of life disappeared. So then their mission got compromised because like, oh snap, the things we needed to build the celestial are gone. So now we have to try to figure it out. And then they got a conscious and they were like, wow, this isn't really right. So I think what the thing is for me is like, I'm looking at it as a whole story. Every bit is not going to be as good as the last, or it's not going to be what I saw 10 years ago, because no, we're on a different MCU. We're in a multiverse. We're in where there's 500 different possibilities of how a story can go because there's 500 variants of everybody now. So I think what they're doing is they're weaving a different kind of story. They're not so much reliant on, you know, the action and the blowing up and all that, because it's changed. And then you have to add some kind of psychologicalness to it. And then there's different levels of it, you know, like you got Falcon Winter Soldier, which is kind of like military, you know, suspense. You got WandaVision, which is fantasy, and then you got then you got Ant-Man, which is sci fiction, you know, and then you got Doctor Strange, which is kind of blending all those together.
Horror and
horror, yeah. They try to go with Sam Raimi.
That was good too. I'm trying to think. Since Endgame, you've only got a handful that were any good.
I hated Thor: Love and Thunder. I hated that.
It wasn't good.
That was horrible.
Quantumania wasn't good. Love and Thunder wasn't good. Marvel's was great. Eternals was really good, right?
It was.
But the challenge, of course, is
Shang-Chi.
It's always like, what do they say? If you like something, you tell two people. If you hate something, you're going to tell everybody.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So these cats go out of their way to hate. Everyone has got to relax because it's a fucking comic book.
Right.
So let's not make everything
right
life and death. It's a comic book movie. It's supposed to be kind of silly. It's supposed to be kind of fun. We're just going to put a comic book on the page. Not everything has to be grim dark. Not everything has to be so ridiculous, right? Everybody had a good time in that Marvel's film. The action was fun. Right, the characters were fine.
Yep.
The
acting was great. I thought the acting was great.
It's great.
You want grim dark? Watch Batman. You want grim dark? There's a whole line of Batman.
There's a whole line of grim dark.
Grim and dark. Even in Marvel, if you want to grim and dark, you could go.
You can watch Daredevil.
Morpheus. You watch you could watch some like go back and watch Jessica Jones and stuff like that.
Right. Watch Punisher, watch Daredevil. Don't watch Iron Fist. That guy's terrible.
Yeah.
I like Luke Cage, the bulletproof black man.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong.
Shout out to them for not going with the racist tropes on that one.
I will say that
Shang-Chi was also good, by the way.
That's what I meant. I said Shang-Chi was great. I will say that everything that is super popular eventually has a backlash.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was only a matter of time before Marvel's backlash happened. And that's what we're seeing right now. We're just seeing movies that we would have thought before were good, now aren't so good. And now are, I mean, sure. the first Marvel, Captain Marvel movie made $1.3 billion, at the box office.
But here's the but. It was between Infinity Wars and Endgame. And it was set up in the post-credit scenes in Infinity Wars. And so you knew that it was coming, but it was the placement of the release of that film was made. And also you got the same misogynistic crap about that film before it was even screened. You had people, had the fanboys who were posting all of this misogynistic crap about that film. And the film,
what film?
Was good. About Captain Marvel.
The first Captain Marvel.
The first Captain Marvel. But I will say this.
I would like to quote.
I'll go out on a limb and I'll say this, and that is that it's going to be hard. Everything is viewed through the lens of Endgame. Endgame was so good.
Endgame was terrible.
What are you on crack? Endgame is one of the best comic movies ever made.
Brian, for real. But it was horrible. It was horrible. Once you start time traveling, yes, it was all fan service. Once you start time traveling, all your logic, all your writing gets lazy. It was not great. And that was the challenge of what they set up. There's really no way to end that story satisfactorily. But Endgame was not a good movie. And it was 8 million years long. Yeah.
You know what? It served its purpose.
Yeah, but it was not objectively good.
Well, here's the thing. You know what? Here's the thing you got to keep in mind with these movies. These movies are built on the actors' contracts. So you got to remember, Robert Downey Jr. was at the end of a contract. And they're like, how do we exit him in the most grand way that gives him the dignity for all the years he's done and also gives us a chance to move the story along? Because we can't keep going back to the Infinity Stones. With
AI now, they're going to keep going back. Superman will never get old. Iron Man will never get old. It's all
exactly.
AI.
But here's the thing. That's the one thing I can't appreciate about all the Batman movies is they have allowed Batman to be different people. They have allowed him to be, Michael Keaton and Val Kilmer, and Batman has been now Christian Bale and that dude from
Robert Pattinson. Gothic Batman was great.
Thank you for not mentioning George Clooney. Thank you for not mentioning George Clooney.
We've seen Batman be able to be so many people that we have to remember, like you said, it's comic books. So at the end of Endgame, we can't sit there and say, well, they didn't do the time thing right. I would. It's just kind of like, you know what? We got to see.
I still saw it.
My vision would be.
We got to see Tony hug his dad.
They had to exit some characters out. So they had to make it where you felt that so bad. You felt it so hard that it's hard to accept something coming after that's not that. And the thing is,
listen, I love you 3000, Chris. I would like to quote the visionary poetess Taylor Swift when I say haters gonna hate.
I love you 3000.
Speaking of that, 3000's got a new album coming out on Friday.
Yes. Well, no, we can even talk about how, with Andre 3000, people have been wanting Andre 3000 records, then he decides to create something that he wants to create. And I've seen nothing but people say, oh, nobody would hear Andre 3000 play flute. Oh, nobody. And it's just like,
I'm here for it.
Come out first? Can it come out first? Can we listen to it?
What is he going to do, Jethro Tull classics?
No, he's
sitting on a park bench.
All right, so maybe I've been in a cave for the last couple of months, and I probably have because I don't follow music as much as I should. Has Lizzo bounced back from that bad publicity? Do you guys know?
Lizzo's been on tour. Lizzo's been working. Lizzo's done photo shoots. It's one of those things where it's like, The people that hate Lizzo are gonna hate Lizzo regardless of what's out there. The people that love Lizzo are still gonna go to her shows and support her. And I think at the end of the day, that bad publicity is always somebody that's just like, because like the whole thing was, I don't get mad when fat people call other fat people fat. That's not my life. That's not my business. You know what I'm saying? That's like when me and Ngaio and black people are speaking and we use the N-word amongst each other. That's us. But if Tom decides he wants to jump in the conversation or using the word, now we gonna have a conversation. But I don't see.
I'm gonna get old Bill
like,
Maher on you.
Right. That's like that's literally like if somebody came out with a report saying I'm racist because I called the black people around me N-words. Because I'm not, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you know, Chris Riggins is racist because he called his friend a coon. Man, we was joking. You know what I mean? Whether it was joking or not, whatever, I just feel like she didn't have to bounce back. She's fine. Just like Dave Chappelle didn't have to bounce back. Just like Louis C.K. is not having to bounce back because he went and laid low and he just said, I'm going to do me. And the people that support that are going to go support that.
Yeah. I mean, his career will never be the same, but he's never. I'm not going to worry about him financially, though. You know, I think he's going to be fine. He's got stand up. He's got a crowd to realize, you know, that loves him. So
well, let me ask you something, Tom, because you brought up Bill Maher. Did you booked Bill Maher, didn't you?
Yeah.
Back at Cobb's.
We used to be friends.
What the hell happened to him?
Why?
What the hell? Seriously, what the hell happened to him?
Well, Bill's the old man on the porch. You know, he's the guy. He's the dude. Get off my lawn, you sons of bitches. You know, he's become that guy. He's become the old guy. And
if you hit your ball in my yard, I'm keeping it.
Yeah, he's that dude. You know, and it's sad. And you know, but Bill's always been. You know, there's a reason why Bill's never been married and never really had a relationship. He's a narcissist.
Yes, all black women.
He's
all black.
Yeah, that he likes to use.
Right. It's all about you loving Bill.
Against.
So all these right-wing people who know how to use Bill, which is what, you know, and Bill knows how to use them. And that's why they're having this love fest. Like Ben Shapiro's on the show and stuff like that. They're just using him. He's using them and everybody will do that whole thing of, you know, you're so brave for having me on your show. Oh, you're so brave for being on my show. We're both so brave. You know, and meantime, there are white people and there are liberals who won't do my show anymore because of what I said in the past, you know. But if you look at his guest list, I have to look up the people half the time because all the people that were stars that used to do his show, they're not doing his show anymore.
No, they do
not.
So I haven't watched his show in probably about like 2 years. I think I watched like 3 minutes of the Elon Musk interview and before, what an ass kissing festival that was. And I just turned out because first of all, I hate fucking Elon Musk and, you know, and then watching Bill Maher, like, you know, give him a big
suck up to him.
Boy, he had the balls. That's all I'm saying.
He was cupping.
He was cupping. He was like, dude, a little tickle, you know.
All right, final topic. And this is what I should have seen coming. Target, which got in so much trouble from the right wing and the MAGA people during Pride, having rainbow flags. They had rainbow flags and a couple of like stuffed animals and rainbow shirts. And so the MAGA people went crazy. So they took the stuff off the shelves and wouldn't sell it. Well, now they have some black Santa Claus dolls and some black Santa Claus paraphernalia that they're selling for Hollywood. And the MAGA people are going crazy. In fact, one guy was on Fox News who said that black Santa Claus has made him stop believing.
Wow.
You would have hoped it was his parents when he was 12 years old. But
it took a black Santa to do that.
Wasn't it Megan? What's her face from? It used to be on Fox. Megan Kelly, who actually said on air, like, everybody knows Santa Claus is white. It's like and got like outraged.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with Santa being white. Cool, keep him. They ain't got look. White people don't have many role models left, and I feel like if we keep taking their role models away, whether they're real or fake, we just gonna really lose white people to MAGA. So I feel like let them have Santa. Matter of fact, keep us out of it. I don't want to see a black Santa. I don't want to go to a black mall and see a black Santa. Nope, don't believe it. Because like I have a joke about this, and I clearly say, they would have killed Black Santa in the 60s.
Mm.
Black Santa wouldn't have, you would, what? There's a black man breaking into my house every year leaving gifts? Not on my watch. He would have been
I bet you
dead.
that bag was empty before he came in the house.
Right. That's what they thinking, right? Yeah, I'm cool. Black people ain't that giving. We don't want to give to all the children. I don't like all the kids. Like ooh.
My girlfriend, to surprise me yesterday.
Right? I mean, listen, you can go to Amsterdam and black people already have Swarthy Pete. Isn't that enough?
Close enough. So my girlfriend wanted to surprise me yesterday. She gave me a ride home, and she said she had a surprise for me. And out in the corner nook next to my front door is a 6-foot black Santa Claus that she got from me. A big 6 foot with. He's got the bag. He's got a plate of cookies in the whole thing. And I'll tell you that, and this is the thing I'm the most ashamed of. It scared the shit out of me 3 or 4 times. Because I come out of the house and I open the door and I go open the door this way, and there's like a big brother looking over my shoulder, and I turn around and I don't realize that it's the Santa Claus, because I'm not used
Brother
to
Santa. It's Brother Santa.
I'm just coming in my house at 2:00 in the morning, and there's this big brother looking over my shoulder. So anyway,
you're gonna have some old white dude shooting at your porch.
Well,
you could have had a 12-foot skeleton.
That's coming. And see, before this, nobody knew black people lived here. So thanks for putting the big black Santa out front. now they, you want to know where the black people live? Look for the big 6-foot black Santa Claus.
All right, there you go.
So let's see, Tom, you got a movie that's on IMDb.
Yeah, the Comedy Club. And you can go to my website, TomSawyerVoices.com, and click on the Cobb's Comedy Club page, or click on the documentary page. And then there's a link right there to the movie on Tubi. And it's also on Amazon Prime and Plex and Xfinity on demand. And there's also a page with Cobb's with all kinds of pictures. I believe you're on my website, Ngaio. Actually,
Yeah.
you are, Brian. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen it. There's so many pictures from parties at Cobb's.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, you should check it out. There's amazing photos. Bring back a lot of memories.
That was my home away from home. That place was.
Yeah, there's a lot of pictures.
I missed that place,
Brian. A lot of pictures of Ngaio. So from all our the Cobb's Christmas parties and stuff.
Oh God, those were fun.
Yeah,
the Halloween party too. Halloween party was a blast.
Yeah.
All the parties.
Yeah, so, I would tell everybody, because there's so many pictures of so many amazing comedians from the 80s, 90s, and my time, which was 1982 to 2012. So all kinds of amazing.
That's a long time to do anything.
Yeah, it really is. I think you should open another club, Tom. I've been thinking about that. We need you.
Yeah.
At Brian's house.
I'm gonna open up. Yeah. I'm gonna open up a club where you can bring in rubber bands and play with them for an hour. Huh? No?
I think you lost me.
Yeah, I did. I lost you. I think was that was the idea.
However, you know what that made me think of? And I'll mention this. I'm going to throw a plug out. I saw Rob Reiner's new documentary on Albert Brooks. It's on Max. It's on Max right now. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm telling you, watch it. It's 90 minutes, and it's one of those documentaries that when it was over, I was bummed that it was over.
Wow.
I mean, that's how good it was. This guy would go on the Tonight Show and do something he'd never even tried before. Like you work out your set and you make sure that it's perfect for the second. He would think of something in the afternoon and then go on the Tonight Show, and Carson trusted it. And he always killed. And he would do some just bizarre performance art, Andy Kaufman kind of thing, and would always kill with it. So see it. It's called Albert Brooks Defending My Life. And it's it's a cradle to grave doc. So definitely see it.
Yeah.
Ngaio, where can people see you?
Wherever I am. I'm going to be in Petaluma this Sunday at Jameson's Roadhouse. You can follow me on all the social media, NGAIO420. I'm going to be at the Alameda Comedy Club with Shank Forbes, actually, the weekend after Thanksgiving. And then I'll be in Vegas at the MJ BizCon, just wandering the hallways the week after that. So come through.
Are you working New Year's Eve?
I just picked up a gig in New Year's Eve. I'll be in San Rafael, I think. I would have to look.
I'm thinking. I mean,
are you going to be in San Rafael
show every year.
Hold on, I'll look it up.
Okay. Well,
There's
while
only
you're
so many
looking it
places you
up,
could be.
let me talk to Chris while you're looking it up. Chris, are you out with Chappelle still?
No, we're on break till December. But November 29th, Wednesday, I will be headlining the San Francisco Punchline. So please buy your tickets. Come through. It's going to be a great show. My first headlining set at the Punchline. So
Congratulations.
come out and support.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Marin
Congratulations.
Shakespeare, the Marin Shakespeare Company in San Rafael on New Year's Eve.
Oh,
An
Marin
early
Shakes.
show. It's like an early show, 7:30.
They just called me out of the blue. I got a call from them yesterday asking me if I wanted to play there.
Verily.
And so, yeah, so we're looking at some dates for next year. So I'll
Cool.
be out there.
Awesome.
And I'm going to throw a plug too. During the shutdown, I wrote a crime novel, and the novel
Wow.
sold. And
Hey.
it was supposed to be published in June, and they liked it so much that they moved it up to May 1st, and now they moved it up again to April 23rd. They think it's going to be a summer read. It's called Outraged. And it was supposed to be April 23rd that pre-orders were available. And then they moved it up to a couple of days ago. So pre-orders are available now. It's called Outraged. Just go to Amazon and you can pre-order. It's going to be a controversial book. What the premise of it is somebody's killing cops who have shot unarmed Black people. And the protagonist is an
Chris
African-American investigative reporter, and he and his sister, who's SFPD, are the ones who are in charge of trying to find out who it is that's doing it. So that's it. Outrage, pick it up, check it out.
I'm here for it.
Support me. I appreciate it.
All right.
Tom Sawyer and Ngaio Bealum, Chris Riggins. Thanks, guys. Always a pleasure to have you.
Thank
Please
you,
come
man.
back
Thank
and
you,
see us
man.
soon, okay?
Thank you for having me.
Yes, we will.
Always.
See you later.
All right, that's going to do it for us. I will check you out next. Actually, I will not check you out next week because next week is Thanksgiving. We're going to take Thanksgiving week off, so I'll see you in 2 weeks. So until then, if you want to support the show, there are lots of ways you can do it. Tell anybody you know, any way that you possibly can. If you are listening to us as opposed to watching us, go to the platform that you're listening to us on and give us a 5-star review because that helps people to find us. If you are somebody watching us on YouTube, please subscribe. Because as soon as we get 1,000 subscribers, we can do this live as opposed to doing it taped one day, or I should say recorded one day, and then drop the next. So if you've not subscribed, it's absolutely free. Please do so. So have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family. And there's lots, in spite of the state of the world, there's still lots to be grateful for. So until next time, be kind to your neighbor. He knows where you live.